Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons, and we're excited to partner with Singing News TV to bring you a brand new series called Legends. It's 10 episodes and 10 legends. We'll have an inside look on some of the living legends of Southern gospel music. You'll hear their stories directly from them, and we might even sing a song together. So subscribe to Singing News TV and check out Legends today. This is as close as I'll ever get to being a YouTuber. That 7-year-old dream of playing Minecraft and posting it millions of views. Literally, you're going to see my first time meeting the Joel Hemphill. I've never met him before.
We're here. We're at his house.
Awesome. Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons and welcome to Singing News TV, where today we'll be spending time with one of the living legends of Southern gospel music. Their stories are fascinating, their songs never get old, and their contributions have been priceless. When you study the history of Southern gospel music, there's a time between the late 70s and the early 80s that people consider the golden age of gospel music. And during that time, there was a group called the Hemphills. They dominated the charts and won the hearts of the people. Today we're meeting the patriarch of that family. He sung with the group, he wrote many of their songs, and he brought laughter to the stage. And today, I'm meeting him for the very first time. His name is Mr. Joel Hemphill. What do you say? Let's meet a legend. Brother Joel, how are you?
All right, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine. It's an honor to meet you. Thank you for letting me be here today.
An honor to meet you. I've heard good things.
Well, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for inviting me into your home.
Glad to have you in our home.
Yes, sir. You ready? Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons and welcome to Legends. And today we have Brother Joel Hemphill, and this is actually our first time meeting, and it's an honor to meet you. Thank you for letting me be in your home today.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and you're a precious young man.
Good
looking fella. I've got some grandkids. I have 6 grandkids, but none of them better looking than you.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Well, talking about the Hemphill era, I'm only 14 years old, and I didn't grow up in the Hemphill area. Well, my mom would talk about having those Hemphill records and listening to them over and over again and learning those songs for church. But I don't know much about the Hemphill history, and that's why I'm here today. I want to learn about it, and I want all of our friends watching this to learn about the Hemphill. So if you look back at the Hemphill history, where does it all start?
Well, actually, I was born in Fresno, California. My dad was pastoring a church out there.
Yes, sir.
But I got back to Tennessee as quick as I could.
Yes, sir.
No, we moved to Louisiana first, and I worked with my dad in his church there in Monroe, Louisiana. When I was 17, I met Labriska.
Yes, sir.
And we were married. She was with the Happy Goodman family.
That's right.
And a wonderful singer, wonderful lady. We pastored a church then from 61 to 71. Mm-hmm. Candy was born the week we took the church, and she turned 10 the day we moved to Nashville.
Wow.
And by then she was already singing with us and doing a good job.
Yes, sir.
I started writing when I was about 27.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when the Lord gave me the gift to write songs. Mm-hmm. It wasn't something I was just trying to do. Mm-hmm. It's like He handed it to me.
Yes, sir.
And after that, I've written several hundred songs. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned legend, but I don't use words like that about myself. I'm just Joel.
Well, to everybody, you are a legend.
Thank you very much. Anyway, when I was 27 years old, I started writing Southern gospel music and presented it to the Goodmans, and they recorded 2 out of the first 3 songs that I wrote.
Wow.
And then I looked for different ways to come up with an idea. You got to have a fresh idea. I saw lots of bumper stickers traveling on our bus, and one said, "Warning, I drive like you do." I like that. One on a Chevrolet said, "On a quiet night you can hear a Ford rust."
Yes, sir.
That's just comedy, you know.
It is.
And when I saw that one, it said, if God's not finished with me yet, be patient. God's not finished with me yet. And I wrote, He's still working on me, on a bumper sticker. I'm not perfect, just forgiven. I wrote that from a bumper sticker. But I actually dreamed several songs.
Really?
And I think the Cathedrals recorded one. I think the Kingsman recorded one. And, of course, we recorded some that I dreamed. They just handed them to me. That's the easiest way to write, to wake up and write it down.
That's very easy.
And
just giving it to you.
It's just handing it to me, and I always give him the thanks and praise because the gift is his.
Right.
And I'm his. Of course, my present wife is Christy, and she's a wonderful singer. I first heard her sing when she was 7 years old with her family, the Couch family. And she's been a good singer all through the years. So we're rehearsing some to get out and sing some in churches and preach. I still enjoy preaching.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, talking about He's still working on me. This did a lot for my spirit. I got a call from a lady, and I think it was in Ohio. She was in Ohio. And she said, "Brother Joel," she said, "I've got something that I know will thrill the heart of a gospel songwriter." She said, "I manage people." And she said, a young Hindu man just stood at my desk and sang, "He's still working on me."
Wow.
And she said, "Well, how do you know that song?" He said, "Well, we were Hindus in India, but my parents sent me to a Christian school, a Catholic school, and said every morning 3,000 children would start off singing, 'He's still working on me.'"
Wow.
3,000 children in India in this school, and that was their theme song. So that did mean a lot to me. I appreciate that, and I thank the Lord that He has taken my songs many, many places. And I appreciate those who are now still recording them because they're like new to you and others, you know.
Yes, sir.
I remember Paul wrote Timothy, a young minister, and said, he was giving him some advice. He said, "Preach the word." So if we're singers, I think we ought to sing the word, you know.
Right.
And the strongest songs, gospel songs, are Bible-based. And when I wrote "Consider the Lilies," I just quoted Jesus. That was easy. He said, "Consider the lilies. They don't spin cloth, but Solomon in all of his glory was not arrayed like one of these lilies." He said, "Consider the sparrows because they don't plant or sow, but the Heavenly Father watches the sparrows and sees one if he falls." So that really speaks, and it spoke to me, and I wrote "Consider the Lilies."
Yes, sir.
I think you and I are going to sing it here.
I think so, soon. But talking about songs that you've written, I want to go back to "He's Still Working on Me." And that song was bigger than gospel music, and that song became an anthem for kids all around the world. And I just want to know, when you wrote that song, did you have kids in mind?
No, I don't guess I did. I was just writing, and it came to me. And I was actually deer hunting. I was on a deer stand. And I got thinking about that bumper sticker. "Be patient with me, God's not finished with me yet." And so children took to it. I don't know that I could just sit down and write a children's song unless the Lord handed it to me for children.
And on the topic of children, I want to go back to the Hemphills as a group. So at first it was you and Labrisca that started off, right? But eventually your kids came in and they started singing with you guys and really made the group what people know them today as. When did your kids start coming in and singing with you guys?
Just as soon as they could get on that bus, they wanted to do something.
Yes, sir.
So Trent learned to play the bass, and he became a bass player. Funny thing, the first night he was on stage and I introduced him, he bowed toward the wall.
Really?
We gave him a fit about that. I mean, just picking at him, but he was so confused he just bowed toward the wall. Anyway, not long after that, we had a piano player lead, and Joey and Trent had a car together. Well, Trent sold Joey his part of the car, and he bought a Kauai grand piano and had it moved into our home. And I said, son, what are you going to do with this piano? He said, I'm going to play it, Dad. And in 6 months' time, he taught himself to play the piano and became our pianist.
Yes, sir.
With the group. Joey started out as our drummer, and then when our baritone singer left, well, Joey, it was time for him to step up. And everybody had their own gifts and talents, and we got along real good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We had one young lady standing in for Candy when she was expecting on the road, and she's been with several different groups. And she said, this is the most peaceful bus I've ever been on. So,
yes, sir. And I can believe that, because just being with you right now, this is just such a peaceful place, and you're such a peaceful person.
Thank you very much.
Well, how about this, Brother Joe? We're going to take just a small break. Folks, we'll be right back. Stay right where you are, but we're going to take a small break.
Dreaming of an unforgettable getaway filled with music, faith, and breathtaking ocean views? Join Tate Emmons aboard the Harmony at Sea 2026 cruise. Setting sail February 23rd through the 28th on the Carnival Freedom. We're heading to Celebration Key, Nassau, and the stunning Half Moon Cay. A trip that's part paradise, part praise, and all unforgettable. Alongside Tate Emmons, enjoy the Browders, the Allens, Right Road Quartet, Danny Funderburg, Heart to Heart, the Seiler family, and more. Be sure to register with Tate Emmons so you can be part of his special onboard events and exclusive experiences. Expect live concerts, powerful worship, artist meet and greets, and plenty of fun at sea. Whether you're soaking up the sun or singing under the stars, this is a trip you don't want to miss. Cabins are limited, so book now. Visit www.praise.events or call 865-278-3681 and sign up with Tate Emmons to set sail for a week of music, inspiration, and adventure. Harmony at Sea 2026, where faith, music, and fun come together. Get ready for a weekend of incredible music in the heart of the Smoky Mountains. Singing in the Smokies 2025 is almost here. It's going to be an unforgettable celebration of gospel music, talent, and tradition. Join us Thursday through Saturday, July 3rd through the 5th, with the Inspirations, the Troy Burge family, the Chuck Wagon Gang, Jeff Tolbert and Primitive Road, the Isbells, Resurrection Quartet, the Wisnets, Jonathan Wilburn, Tate Emmons, the Blythe family, McCamey Reunion, Karen Peck and New River, the Kingsmen, and the Dove Brothers. Singing in the Smokies 2025 in beautiful, scenic Bryson City, North Carolina. The Hopper Heritage Foundation has been awarding scholarships for more than 2 decades, helping to further the education of future Christian leaders, whether music, teaching, missions. The scope is vast and the potential is yours. To learn more, visit thehopperheritagefoundation.org and submit your application today.
Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons and welcome back to Legends. And today we've been talking to Brother Joel Hemphill. Now I'm going to start where we left off. So in the early 90s, the Hemphills, they split ways and went different ways. What did you and Labrisca do after that?
Well, we had to make a decision if we were going to go on with our ministry without the children. They had been so faithful all through the years and worked hard and traveled far and just did us a great job. But Joe and Trent had started a bus company, Hemphill Brothers Coach Company, leasing buses to entertainers. And it was demanding more of their time, and so they decided to stay home and do that. And Candy had married about 2 years before and had a baby girl, and her husband worked, and he was a minister, but he had to take a job for a while. They left in 90, and we hired a boy named David Hall from Oklahoma. He was a very talented, godly man, good keyboard player, good record salesman. He was a good bus driver. You know,
That's important.
That's one thing, and we didn't feel like we could afford to hire one just to drive the bus, but that was one of David's talents. So he and I drove the bus and had 8 years. Real good time. Went to South Africa and sang a tour over there. And,
Wow.
Canada and different places. A lot of places in the U.S., including California. Yeah.
You were known for just being humorous and making people laugh on stage. And did that come natural to you, or did you kind of have to teach yourself jokes? Just tell me, where'd you get your humor?
Well, I don't know. It just, I like clean humor. Good, clean, harmless humor. But anyway, I wrote a little song, and we never recorded it. It was just the words, basically, but it got a lot of action. I wrote a song called Peace with God, Peace with my wife, and Peace with the IRS.
That's funny.
When I've had trouble with either one, my life was in a mess. And every day when I wake this way, I know how much I'm blessed. Peace with God, peace with my wife, and peace with the IRS. Then I put a verse. Zacchaeus was a wee little man and a tax collector too. He cheated people right and left and inflated what was due. But when Jesus came to his house, he repented and confessed. I call that the day the Lord cleaned up the IRS.
My goodness.
Yeah, the Lord cleaned up the IRS. Anyway, I'd quote that, they get a kick out of it.
Well, folks, we need to put that on a shirt. Zacchaeus, the day that the Lord cleaned up the IRS. So around the time that the Hemphills, parted ways, you said it was 1990, you had a fight with colon cancer, but the Lord brought you through. Tell us all about that whole experience.
It was very debilitating. I mean, they did surgery and I didn't have to have a colostomy, and I was thankful for that. I did have some other issues with it, and it was really hard on my system. And I actually became depressed because I thought my work was over, with what I was dealing with. But one Sunday morning in church, our pastor said, Brother Hemphill, said, the Lord just spoke to me, he's going to heal you today. Said, come up here, we'll pray for you.
Wow.
They prayed for me. That was on Sunday. And Monday, I got up ready to live.
Wow.
And I was healed of my depression, and had a testimony.
Yes, sir.
In Revelation, it said they overcome Satan by the word of their testimony and by the blood of the Lamb. So we have a testimony, each one of us does. And you don't have to be a preacher to deliver that testimony.
Yes, sir.
And I know you do, and that's great.
Well, it's very obvious that the Lord has just been good to you and has brought you through so much. Has there been a day that the Lord hasn't been good to you?
No, not a day.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Even in our trouble,
That's right. Yes,
in
sir.
our hardships, even in our bus breakdown.
Well, the Lord has brought you through things in the past, but lately the Lord brought you through something. Tell us about that, Brother Joel.
Well, as I say, I had colon cancer and surgery in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know that those scars were going to make a blockage in my colon.
Mm-hmm.
Those scars from 1990. So, first thing you know, everything I ate came back up.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't keep my food down. And wound up in a good hospital here in Springfield. And they decided that I had a colon blockage.
Mm-hmm.
And had to do a major surgery and remove a foot of my small intestine. And then I got pneumonia. And they put me on the ventilator.
Mm-hmm.
I was on that for 10 days. And in fact, this is hard to believe, Tate, but I went 100 days without a bite of food or a swallow of water.
Wow.
They fed me through my side,
Mm-hmm.
and it was rough. It was really rough.
But the Lord brought you through
The Lord
that.
brought me through, and the doctors know it.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor that did the surgery, he's a good surgeon. But he said, when I saw you on that ventilator, I said, he's not going to make it. And the chaplain of the hospital came in and told my wife, Christy, and another friend that was there, John Bowman, both good prayer warriors. They standing by my bed. Well, the chaplain came in and looked at me, and he said, well, this man is fixing to go meet his maker, or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
And Brother John followed him out in the hall, and he said, we don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Said, we believe the Lord's going to raise him up to minister again. So the man meant no harm. He just saw my condition. Also, my surgeon said when he saw me on that ventilator, he didn't think I would make it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to talk again. I had to learn to eat again.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lord put good people in my life, and Christy stayed right by me for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt she missed 2 or 3 nights staying with me on a recliner.
Mm-hmm.
And I owe her more than I could ever repay. My younger sister said, Christy is solid gold.
Yeah.
So
She's a good woman. I've met her. She's so sweet. And we were talking before this interview. She's just a good person.
yes, she is. She's a preacher's daughter, preacher's granddaughter. 2 grandfathers were preachers.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows about the ministry
Yes, sir.
and has a compassion for people, literally. So the Lord is good.
That's
and
right.
We have a happy home, and we have a good church where we attend, and a good pastor, and we're just very, very thankful.
That's awesome.
God is good all the time.
That's right. That's right. Well, Brother Joel, your story has been a blessing to me. It's been an honor to meet with you and be able to talk to you. I'll never forget this, Brother Joel. This is, as my aunt would say, this is a red letter day. This is,
Praise God.
I am so thankful that I've gotten to come here and talk with you today. We talked about just a little bit, Consider the Lilies earlier. I think we ought to sing that song before we go. Is that okay with
Yeah.
you?
People ask me my favorite. Of course, he's still working on me. He stayed #1 8 months.
That's right.
Singing news charts, and I'm not bragging about
No.
that. I'm just Joel.
Mhm.
But anyway, Consider the Lilies is the most comforting song to me. Consider The lilies,
Come
they
on.
don't toil or spin. But there's not a king with more splendor than them. Consider the sparrows, they don't plant nor sow, but they're fed by the master who watches them grow. We have a heavenly Father above, with eyes full of mercy, a heart full of love. He really cares when your head is bowed low. Consider the lilies, and then you will know. May I introduce you to this friend of mine who hangs out the stars, tells the sun when to shine, and kisses the flowers each morning with dew. But he's not too busy to care about you. We have a heavenly Father above, with eyes full of mercy and a heart full of love. He really cares when your head is bowed low. Consider the lilies, and then you will know. Consider the lilies, and then you will know. Good job.
There we go. There we go.
This is the jaw tooth of a mastodon.
Wow.
And a mastodon was an ancient elephant.
Mm-hmm.
And this was found in Saluda River in Greenville, South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah, there are many artifacts in South Carolina for some reason. And so their citizens are permitted to harvest them.
Mm-hmm.
They did,
Okay.
snorkel is the word I'm looking for. And I even have one of his leg bones.
I don't want to drop it, so I'm going to give that to you.
This is not the main leg bone. This is a back leg bone,
Yes, sir.
and that's why it's no larger than it is. His other leg bones are much larger.
Was he a woolly mammoth?
Woolly
Woolly
mammoth. There you are.
Yes, sir. This is
I
one.
thought you might find that interesting.
That's very interesting. Wow.
That's the roots that broke off.
I didn't expect to hear all this today. I thought I was going to come talk with you and sing with you, but I got a science lesson. Got to hold some bones. That is awesome. That is so cool. Thank you for showing me this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey everybody, my name is Tate Emmons, and thank you for watching this episode of Legends, a series where we honor the generations that came before us and paved the way. But I'd like to speak about a generation who has not had the chance to pave their way. A generation stolen, sold, and abused. Over 1 million children have been abducted and are being used for sexual exploitation and slavery. Just as young as 18 months old, but on average, just 15 years old. That's my age. It's a $99 billion industry generated by stolen children each year. It's a tragic epidemic that can no longer be ignored or overlooked. Over 1 million children's voices have been silenced. But today, I will be their voice. The voice of my generation. I will make the appeal of hope and rescue. Destiny's Rescue is an organization mission to rescue kids from human trafficking, to set them free and keep them free. Today we are announcing a partnership with Destiny's Rescue and Tate Emmons Ministries, and we're asking you to partner with us. For a monthly commitment only $40 or any gift that you can give, you will become actively in the fight to save these children's lives. And as I've always saying thank you, I'll send you my debut album, Means Something to Me, along with Christmas with Tate, as our gift to you. By following the QR code at the bottom of the screen or going to tateemmons.com, you can become an official partner. A partner to save a stolen generation whose voices have been silenced. Let's be their voice. Let's stand in the gap for my generation.